Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Annamorfidis here with Mending Hearts Counseling, and today's video is actually going to be inspired by my own self and things that I had to work through this morning that I'm sure so many of us have to work through. Hopefully not every day, but some days are going to be more challenging than others. And then the big question is, why are some days more challenging than others? And the thing that I have learned in school and through all the books that I've read is that when our needs are not met, we are completely taken out of our window of tolerance. So window of tolerance in psychology terms refers to the window where we are actually able to tolerate our emotions and our feelings that lead to positive behaviors. And when we are outside of our window of tolerance, the behaviors that arise from our feelings are usually not desirable. So for me, my undesired behaviors is a feeling of, I don't, like some people might get angry, they might get spazzy, they might yell, they might scream. I tend to cry. I tend to reach for something that I'm not even sure what it is that I'm reaching for until I go back into my window of tolerance and I'm like, oh yes, that's right. This is my emotional unfulfillment that has been with me for 43 years, that this morning presented itself super strong. It took me out of my window of tolerance, and then I projected onto the masculine to sort of fill that lack of emotional fulfillment that I have from within. And it's not anyone's fault. It's not masculine's fault. It's not my fault. It's not my parents' fault, but the truth of the matter is that I grew up in an anxious attachment type of situation, and my emotions, not only were they never allowed to be expressed, if they were expressed, they were usually met with punishment. And why would I want to continue to express my emotions when I would get punished for it? So it makes sense then that after that, so 18 years of living with my mom, and then I escaped to go to university, and then 18 years again with my current life partner, it's who is resembling exactly who my mother is, does not do emotions at all, does not want to talk about emotions, does not know how to hold emotions, has never been able to want to hear or be with my emotions. And it makes sense to me why I attracted just that, because that is what I was used to and that is what feels familiar. But on certain days when our emotional needs are not met, it's like our physiological needs not being met. It's like when you don't have food and you don't have water, you are going to act out. So when my emotional needs are not met, then I act out, and I almost feel needy. I feel needy. I feel that I'm overwhelming. I feel that I'm projecting. And these are all feelings that would easily take me down the rabbit hole and make me feel really bad about myself. So I need to understand that I'm just out of my window of tolerance, address it, right? Because if we don't address something, then it just persists. So you, first of all, become aware of what you're doing. And not only what you're doing to yourself, but also becoming aware of how you're affecting other people. Because when we are outside of our window of tolerance, we can very easily affect those that mean the most around us, or the ones that we want even to mean the most around us. right? So like if you're single and you're in desire of being with a masculine or a feminine to reflect back to you, you know, like the love that you want to feel, most likely you're going to project onto that person your unfulfilled need, because when we're children, our needs are our parents' job to fulfill because we don't have the capacity to do so on our own. But as adults, our romantic partners who we naturally lean to have our needs met actually don't have that responsibility for us. Now, as adults, we have that responsibility for us. We are the ones that can fulfill our own needs because we're the ones that know what those needs are in the first place. Yes, you can ask someone, you can request of someone else if they're able, if they have the capacity, the willingness, and the capability to meet our needs, but it's not their responsibility. So when you go out of your window of tolerance and you feel like you're starting to be needy, you're starting to be, or you feel like you're overwhelming, there is this really beautiful affirmation actually that I wrote out that seems to help me. So after I acknowledge it, I talk about it. Luckily I have the best friend in the whole wide world that is able to hold me in that space with no judgment always. And she just lets me talk about what I'm feeling, and she is a complete sounding board. She doesn't tell me what I need or want. She just hears me out, and then I come to the conclusion that I am reacting this way because this is what's happening, and my behaviors today affected this person like this, and then it's my responsibility to apologize and make sure that my lack of met needs does not affect others negatively. That is the one thing that I don't ever want to project onto others, is my own unmet needs. And I then took a nap because I tried to escape my thoughts with, or I guess I should say the thoughts that come from my unmet needs by working, but that was not working. So then I needed to just calm my mind and sit with it, ground myself, recenter myself. I felt completely out of balance. And that is exactly what our unmet needs do. They do bring us out of homeostasis. Homeostasis is that internal balance that our body is calibrated to naturally. But when we're hungry and we need certain vitamins and nutrients, our homeostasis is off. And we need to come back into that space by feeding ourselves. So when our emotional needs are not met, just in the same way, our homeostasis is off. And we need to do certain things to regain balance. So I took a nap, then I took a long shower just to make sure I wash everything off of me that I don't want to hold on to. The power of water is actually quite amazing. You can visualize actually unmet needs falling off of you, unwanted behaviors to come off of you, unwanted thoughts, because sometimes when we act out of our window of tolerance, we have thoughts that sound like thoughts that are negative about ourselves, especially if we are affecting others that we don't really want to. So be gentle, like you can let all of those thoughts go away. And then there's this beautiful affirmation that I wrote that I'm going to share with you, because maybe it might help you also recalibrate yourself and find your internal homeostasis, and remind yourself that it's you and you only that can meet your needs. So we can stop projecting that onto other people and then gain our power back. So the affirmation goes something like this. Dear universe, thank you for showing me again that no one else is responsible for me. Because believe me, if you don't learn the lesson the first time, it's going to keep happening over and over. So even if you want to withdraw, and you don't want to face a certain situation or person who is invoking these challenging feelings from within you anyways, just know that it's going to happen again. So even if you avoid it, it's going to come back. So remember that you can't run from it, but you can take a pause from it. That's okay. You can ask the universe or whoever is teaching you the lessons for a pause. That's okay. But just remember that if they're not addressed, they will be persisting and they're going to have to be dealt with at some point anyways. So we thank the universe for showing us what it is that we need to be that we are, no one else is responsible for us. I am responsible for myself and how I feel only. I am safe and secure with myself, and all of my relationships reflect that back to me. I communicate effectively with myself, and all my relationships reflect that back to me. I release any person or situation from having to carry me. I embrace people and situations as people and places that interact with me as I interact with myself. Unconditional love and support and joy. No one is responsible for me. I am responsible for myself and for my needs. So remember, the next time that you go out of your window of tolerance, accept them. But before accepting, you have to be aware. You can't accept anything that you're not aware of. So become aware, accept them, let them run through you, give yourself the self-care that you need in order to recalibrate yourself, and then affirm to yourself what it is that you need to hear, and remind yourself that you are the only person that you need. And hopefully, when all the lessons are learned, you are going to know that you're worth to have it be reflected back to you from a romantic partner in an effortless sort of way. So remember that always everything is happening for you, even these days when we are out of our window of tolerance. It's also happening for us. We are wired to be below the line. I remind myself every day that 4 out of our 5 predominant emotions are challenging, and therefore mostly the feelings and the emotions that we have will feel difficult, and it is a choice that we make every day to be happy. So I choose to remind myself today that I am my own responsibility, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day, and I hope that I also have a great rest of the day myself. And happy Remembrance Day to all those that selflessly gave their lives so we can have ours. And yeah, I'm going to close my video here, and I will see you next time. Don't forget to like it if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And as always, I welcome all questions, comments, concerns, and I thank you for taking the time to hear about me today. Bye.